It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chili Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Friday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, the 5th day of July, 2024, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. It's going to be up in the close to mid-90s again today, but they're calling for some severe storms moving in this afternoon, possibility of it at least. So I don't know what that's going to mean for the pool. Yesterday, I had some work to do after the show and went out to the pool and got in the pool for 2 minutes and thunder started. And then storms moved in and it rained, and that ended the pool for the day. So I was hoping to get out in the pool, get some good time in the pool today. Yeah, well, I can keep hoping. All right, so we got several things to talk about today. One, of course, we got to deal with the Friday tropical weather update, and we got some interesting reports to give you this morning, both from Grand Cayman, from our friend Lindsay, and of course from Elizabeth and Playa del Carmen. Also today, we've got boom Supersonic news. Symphony of the Seas guests have to arrive early today. Iceland itinerary change for Disney ship. And Jamaica reopens already. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. All right, now that we've gotten the holiday out of the way, and by the way, before I get to it, folks, this, you remember, is the big ass cup that Kenneth and Robin sent me, which I keep my Diet Coke in every day. Last night, I decided it was time for an adult beverage. I made a big adult beverage in that big ass cup. I got half loopy sitting here drinking an adult beverage last night. That holds a lot of booze and a lot of Diet Coke, I'll tell you that. But it was the 4th of July. All right, so today is National Bikini Day. So I'll go put my bikini. Yeah, no, forget that. Let's make it National Apple Turnover Day. That's much better. Go get an apple turnover. I will. I like apple turnovers a lot. Amanda tried to get an apple pie yesterday. I mean, the bakeries, then we have one mountain bakery we go to for most of our pies anymore that's really good. We don't care about the cost, but really good pies. They were sold out of apple pies like 3 days ago. So we didn't have an apple pie. Instead, she got a lemon, not lemon meringue, not lemon. It was a lemony kind of pie, kind of a custardy, creamy, lemony. I forget the name of the thing. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It was good. All right, so we'll do apple turnovers today. If you're listening via the podcast, you can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. So, if you are, by the way, listening to your podcast and ever want to jump over to the video feed so you can see interviews or clips or pictures that I'm using on that day's show, or in this case, today's show, there's always a link in the description of the podcast. So you can just click on it and then go over to the video feed. So All right, guys. Before we get down to business, and by the way, I'm running grossly behind on all my pictures and stuff because of the extra time we've been taking on weather this week. I'll catch up on the exploits of everybody that's traveling right now. Hopefully Monday, or if I do a show this weekend, I don't know. I'll monitor things, but unless something massively happens in Texas or this thing gears back up tremendously, I'm hoping that we won't be doing anything this weekend, but we'll see. We'll play that one by ear as we go. All right, so before we get to the weather update, let's take a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. Okay, guys, so our friend Lindsay in not Cozumel, in Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman. Lindsay at one time worked with Elizabeth on cruise ships, and they've remained friends all these years. So Elizabeth said, "Hey, how about do some filming for Chile?" And so she said, "Okay." So this is what it looked like kind of behind her house as Hurricane Beryl was going through. And this is beforehand. Now you remember Beryl missed Grand Cayman. It skirted just to the south of it. So it wasn't a direct hit. And this is just a continuation of Lindsay's stuff there. So then we've got Beryl going past, knocked out power, did lots of things. About this time in the afternoon, Elizabeth is getting stuff done over there in Playa del Carmen and getting ready to move. So let's bring her up to date.
Hey, Chili and the gang. It's Eli on location in Playa del Carmen. I have relocated down to my friend's house. We're across the main highway. If you're familiar with Playa del Carmen, actually the sea is behind me and Cozumel is back that way as well. It's a little bit windy, not too bad up here right now. However, it is a beautiful day. It's about, I'm going to turn it. It's about almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. Sorry, I had to turn my camera. And anyway, so I took a bunch of photos of all the greenery and everything, so we could see what it's going to look like tomorrow. So it looks like the storm is going to just hit a little bit further south of us, but as you can see, it is a big storm, so who knows what it will do, but we've got plenty of provisions, shall we say. So we're going to be safe where we are. Just want to check in with you. And if you don't hear from me on Friday, it's because we have no satellite or no power. But I will be in touch. Take care.
All right, so that was Elizabeth, on location. Now, while that was happening, Lindsay back over in the Caymans, it's passed, and she was able to get, hopefully I do this right, folks, she was able to get a couple reports for us from the local news there. All right, that clip was an interview, and since I had no sound, I just went on and cut that off. Now, let's see if this is any better. Where'd it go? This is the all clear reports. I cut it off. I got a little lost there. Okay, so I was trying something that I've never done before. As you can tell, it didn't necessarily work out very well. But anyway, thanks to Lindsay for doing that. And I'll figure out why I didn't have sound on the first one. I think I may have discovered it on the second one. So we'll see. Anyway, that was going on at Grand Cayman yesterday. And then we got down to the actual brass tacks of what was happening, which is and the machine ate the map. What do you know? Can I even get? I don't even know that I can bring it up now. So anyway, I lost my weather maps. Can I get that real quick? Maybe I can. Anyway, most of you probably have seen this on TV. But Hurricane Beryl, which was currently at the very top end of a Category 2 storm, had landfall this morning in Tulum, which was just south of where Elizabeth is. It was about 8:30 this morning, and it had landfall with 110 mile an hour, Category 2, with dangerous storm surge. The region will see life-threatening winds, up to 6 feet of storm surge in some areas, and up to 10 inches of rainfall, the National Weather Service said in its forecast. Hurricane Beryl will then bring dangerous rip currents to the Gulf Coast over the weekend before hitting southern Texas on Monday. Possibly Sunday. Mexico's President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has warned that Beryl may make a direct hit on Tulum. Well, it did, urging tourists and residents to seek higher ground. This was last night. Don't hesitate. Hurricane Beryl has killed at least 10 people. All right, so the center of Beryl, just a few minutes before I went on the air, is moving inland over the Yucatan Peninsula. There's still hurricane force winds in several areas, storm surge, and damaging waves. It's actually the rainfall has lessened through this last cycle of landfall. 120 shelters have been opened across the Yucatan Peninsula. The current stats. It was about 25 miles northwest of Tulum, 720 miles east-southeast of Brownsville, Texas. The last report, it's carrying 100-mile-an-hour winds. It's moving northwest at 15 miles an hour. Pressure's dropped down to 980. Beryl's expected to emerge over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico tonight and then move northwestward toward the northeastern Mexico and southern tip of Texas by the end of the weekend. Slow re-intensification is expected once Beryl moves back over the Gulf of Mexico. Now, I know a lot of you people think that I got no idea what's going on in the world, which is probably true. However, if those of you that have watched all week may recall that I was not buying what the forecasters, I even argued with Jim Cantori about this privately, that they kept saying that this thing's going to hit the Yucatan Peninsula as a one or possibly a tropical storm. And I said, no way. I mean, even though there's some wind shear, and I understand that that cut it down some, but that's still really warm water. Maybe not as warm as the Gulf's going to be, but I said, there's no way it's going to go down to a one. When it was landfall this morning, it's been borderline all night. It dropped down right at 3 as it passed by Grand Cayman, and it was right on that within 5 miles an hour of Category 3 on the Category 2 side when it made landfall. So that's a high Category 2 when it made landfall. Now the question is, how much does going across the Yucatan cut it down? I mean, a lot of these people are saying it's going to be a tropical storm by the time it gets to the Gulf, or maybe less. I still don't buy that. I think it's going to make it back into the Bay of Campeche as a one, which means that slow intensification could be a rapid intensifier and get us back to a major hurricane as it heads for possibly for Mexico, possibly for Texas. I mean, the cone of uncertainty is so huge now that it could go anywhere from, pretty much straight across the Bay of Campeche to New Orleans. So, I mean, I hate to keep saying, we don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're saying, what they think, and I just disagree with them. I disagreed with them pretty much all along on this storm coming across. Not that I'm any meteorologist. I just know what experience has taught me. All right. Anyway, thanks to Elizabeth and to Lindsay for the assistance through that. And I hope you guys all stay safe and get back to normal real quickly, especially Elizabeth now. I know Lindsay's a day toward getting back to normal now. So we have the equipment you need to stay mobile. Whether you need a wheelchair, scooter, power chair, rollator, oxygen, or other pieces of mobility equipment, Scootaround, powered by Will, can help. Once you've booked your rental, we can deliver it to wherever you need. For your mobility needs, contact me or call Scootaround at 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137 for the best rates. All right, folks. So what happened, some of you will notice that SRN 11137, that's my old number that I've had for years for Scootaround. We were using code Chili since I became a brand ambassador for Will Power Chairs and Scootaround. And there were other people that were using their names also, like my friend Sylvia was using code Sylvia. Well, apparently there's been some glitches in their computer systems accepting names. So they went back to the SRN numbers for Scootaround. So it goes back to my old number. The account has always been open. So even in the last few months, if you had used the old SRN account, I would have gotten credit for it. Just saying. Now, Will, if you go to Will, They say that they're going to switch over to the SRN number, so you can use either the SRN number or code Chili if you want to buy a chair like mine, like my Model C2 or the new ones or whatever. A little bit of a change.
In final preparations for its second flight, the XP-1 performed aircraft checkouts, including a taxi test reaching 60 knots, multiple flight control sweeps, and operation of all three engines within their entire range. Earlier, Boom celebrated the completion of construction on the Overture Super Factory, another major milestone toward the return of supersonic air travel on board Overture. Royal Caribbean has reached out to guests booked on Symphony of the Seas for today's departure to alert them to the need for an earlier departure from Cape Liberty and Bayonne than originally planned. This means embarkation must also finish earlier than planned, with all guests on board ready for departure at a new time. All guests must check in and board the vessel no later than 2:45 p.m. this afternoon prior to the now sooner than planned departure. Symphony of the Seas was originally scheduled to depart Bayonne at 4 p.m. This change was required due to accommodating other port traffic, specifically a large container vessel.
All right, let me explain that one a little bit further. Symphony of the Seas is a huge cruise ship. I mean, that was the largest cruise ship in the world until Icon came out. It was supposed to sail at 4 o'clock. There's a huge container vessel on its way in. They were afraid that there was not room for both of them in the channel close to the port, and they want them to pass where it's wider, so you don't run the risk of Symphony of the Seas and the container ship colliding. This is probably feedback and carryover from Baltimore, where everybody is really being careful. In the meantime, I hate if somebody, was trying to get to the port with a late flight or a delayed flight to get on the ship this afternoon. Could be in trouble.
Guests sailing later this month aboard Disney Dream have been notified of an itinerary change. The ship will no longer be able to visit Ísafjörður, Iceland, as planned on the original schedule. The port has been undergoing some work to the channel that is not yet completed. The ship will be unable to dock. Guests will still enjoy another stop in Iceland, and an alternative port has been arranged. The impacted sailing is the July 24th departure, a 12-night Norwegian fjords and Iceland itinerary. Guests will have a second day in Reykjavik, plus add a stop in Liverpool to replace Ísafjörður. In what I thought was a surprising move, the Caribbean Tourism Organization announced the reopening of Jamaica's cruise ports following Hurricane Beryl, which swept past the island on Wednesday. The cruise ports in Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, and Falmouth are now open for visitors.
Join us on the post-dry dock Norwegian Bliss Transatlantic from Southampton to Miami, sailing February 2nd. 13-night transatlantic cruise starting at $1,043 per person, including taxes and port charges, stopping at Le Havre, Vigo, Lisbon, and Puerto Delgado on its way to Miami. You arrive in Miami on February the 15th. This looks to be a fabulous transatlantic cruise on the Norwegian Bliss. Call me 434-258-9264 and join us in Southampton. And that's going to wrap up the news portion of today's show, the weekend show, the week shows. It's been a dicey week for me, folks. Had a couple technical issues that I really drove. One of them in particular drove me nuts trying to get it fixed after the fact. All right, let's see who's in the chat room giving me a hard time or what's being said back and forth. Mike's with us. Good morning, Mike. There's hot air Tom. Thank God it's Friday, hot air Tom says. I always agree with that. Interesting. The live stream started again late with you talking. No preview, and you were in mid-sentence. When I replay it back, Tom, it's full. I don't know why it's cut. It cuts off the music altogether. I'm going to have to work on that one, Tom. I know you said this happened yesterday as well. Okay. I will work on it and see if I can figure out what happened. Did you see the preview or did live start in mid-sentence? What is the theme of the day? What? You mean it's a bikini day? And I was going to put a bikini on, and I said no. It's Apple Turnover Day instead. We're going to do Apple Turnover Day, not Bikini Day. Joanne says good morning. Steve says good morning. Gary's here. Good morning. Chili in a bikini. So you had to hear that part of it. I'm wondering how Elizabeth is doing today. All right, so I'll tell you first off that I'm checking now to see if I have heard anything from her. I don't want that. Okay, so sorry about the delay here. Back, there we go. Yeah, I have not heard from Elizabeth since 1 o'clock this morning. And at that time, there was some wind and stuff, but it wasn't raining hardly at all. Now, I have not heard from her directly since. So, unless she's on here, which I have, I don't know, and I'm not saying that I'm worried about her or anything. I just have no idea if they have power, which is, most likely cause. Kenneth's with us. Good morning, Kenneth, up in Pennsylvania. Mike says, "Hey Tom, hi Tom. Didn't see the preview." When you're saying a preview, are you talking about my intro? And where I'm not sure we're on the same page. If you guys are calling that a preview, and I'm calling it an intro, when I go on the air and I say good morning and welcome to Friday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast on the 5th day of July. And today's headlines, I go over them and then I went to the National Bikini Day. Are you guys not hearing that? I see. That's where I'm confused because of different terminology, I guess. I'm not sure what you guys aren't seeing. Because when I play it back, it's all there. Maybe I need to go to YouTube, play it back on YouTube, instead of playing it back on my computer. That's probably true. All right, I'll check that after the show. There's Roger. Good morning. Sitting at Jack's terminal, boarding in 40 minutes. On his way to Alaska. Kenneth, I'm confused by your comment yesterday about no suites available on Joy without balcony. Those would have been Haven, and I saw lots of availability when I looked last night. You don't do balcony cabins? We looked on Vacations to Go, and they only had ocean view and suites available. But when you go on NCL website, they have lots of rooms, every type. We do book balconies when we see a good price. Good morning, all. Have a good weekend. That's from Bob. Hi, Bob. Kenneth says, Roger, have a good trip. Yeah, the balcony price was steep, which is why I booked the inside, and we'll use points to upgrade the balcony. Good value for the points. What ship are you boarding? I'm not seeing any. No, he's getting on a plane to fly. He's going to Alaska. He's not taking a cruise from Jacksonville to Alaska. Hi there, Tom. You need to get on page 3. You're still at the bottom of page 1. That's good. Cindy says it's the airport, Roger, you're going. See there, Cindy and I know. Hi there, Tom. Where have you been? Gretchen's here. He's going to Alaska, Tom. I think he's at the airport. See, everybody's jumping on Tom now. It's not just me. I love it. Kenneth says, wonder what is up with Vacations to Go. That is weird. They are so different. Hello. Hi, good morning. Vacations must be having issues. It says the breakaway is sold out, and it's not for the European cruise, for the Europe cruise. Okay, so Vacations to Go books groups. They book so many cabins on various ships. Now it's a lot more than I would book. It's because they're a big outfit. But when they run out of space, it says sold out. Well, that's not necessarily the Bible, folks. If you have direct contact, I believe in booking with a travel agent. That's why I've become a travel agent, and I learn stuff every day as I'm trying to build a new craft. And I used to use Vacations to Go a lot too. But it does not necessarily give the true picture of what's available on a ship. If any of you ever want to know, call me and ask me. I don't care. I'll look it up for you. And I'm not saying you got to book your cruises with me. Sure, I want your business. Absolutely. I'd be nuts not to. And I'll give you a prime example. Okay? Gary has booked several cruises with me. And he's going on MSC. He has a good relationship with MSC. He booked directly with them. I don't have a problem with that. Gary might decide to go on another cruise line with me tomorrow. That's fine. I'm never going to. Hot Air Tom has got, he's been booking cruises with his Norwegian people since Georgia was a prison colony, I think. I would never expect Hot Air Tom to book with me. So if he does, that's great. Same thing. He does a ton with Viator. A lot of his excursions are with Viator as opposed to on the cruise line because it saves them money. Well, I represent Viator also. I'm not going to say, Hot Air Tom, you got to book with me because he's been with them so long. He gets benefits that even I don't get from a travel agent. So, but anyway, if you have questions, folks, or if something just doesn't feel right, call me. I'll pull it up for you. I have access to everything now. Now, I take that back. I don't have access to some of the European river cruises and some of the European cruise lines, but I can get it. But if it's anything from the States, particularly, Norwegian, Princess, Holland America, MSC, Norwegian, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity. See, all those, I can pull them up. If you're having trouble with airfare, it's too much money for airfare, call me or text me or whatever, and I'll pull up airfare for you to see if I can get a better deal. I want to be here to help folks, not to hinder them. But yeah, it was shocking to me to find out that Vacations to Go is not necessarily telling you everything as it is. Okay, so where am I now? Kenneth said we got an aft balcony for the Breakaway Europe cruise. All right, that's good. I figured the Breakaway must be at expectations for booking since the price reduced and they have it shown as a Latitude bonus cruise this month. Well, I checked the prices on the Breakaway just yesterday, and I don't have a break in price yet. I'll check it again today because I'm expecting to be getting a lowered price so I can change my promotion for that cruise. Solution: if you're running late for Symphony, get a cab at the Verrazano Bridge and drop down off the bridge as the ship floats by. Get a bungee cord. Yeah, I think the cruises might have a little security issue with getting bungee onto the ship on the Verrazano Bridge. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that, would I bungee jump? Yeah, probably not. Again, I admit I'm a coward. Chili's Cruises. Yes, the preview is your intro. Okay. I have to see why that's not going on because I say when I go live, then I start the intro. All right, I got to work on that. I may be doing some weird stuff on the weekend with going live and not live and testing stuff out if I can figure out what's wrong. Yes, music and dancing. Yeah. Intro music. All right, Mike, thank you. It seems like the live stream is just delaying a bit. Today, the stream started after 11 o'clock. Maybe a countdown clock from 10 to 1 is needed to allow YouTube to get things going. It shouldn't be because YouTube has nothing to do with this. It goes from StreamYard to YouTube. But they shouldn't be cutting it off. Anyway, Roger came in. For Hot Air Tom, flying to California, board the Crown Princess on Tuesday. All right, so we got Hot Air Tom up to date now so he can rest comfortably for the weekend until Cindy starts banging him over the head with a 2x4, which she's apt to do. I'm kidding, of course. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. I will work on that issue, I promise. In the meantime, if any of you guys, if you see something that just doesn't feel right or it looks too expensive or whatever, call me. Man, I'll check things for you. It doesn't take me, even if I'm not online. It takes me 5 minutes to get my computer up and go into Norwegian or go into, I'm a little slower on Royal Caribbean. I'm a little slower on Carnival because I don't use them that much. Most of my stuff is Norwegian, Holland America, and Princess, and MSC. Those are the 4 things that I booked the most of my stuff with. A little bit with Carnival. I haven't had any bookings on Royal Caribbean yet because I'm not promoting them. I'm promoting the stuff that I'm doing with Hot Air Tom. It was generated by, going with Hot Air Tom on these cruises. So, all right, guys. That's it for today. Hopefully, Elizabeth is safe and she's just without power. I'm hoping to hear from her shortly. So, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully someday soon we'll all get together on the high seas. By the way, smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that button too. I'll see everybody either sometime this weekend or Monday, whichever comes first. You guys have a great weekend. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chili's Cruises.